All right, here we go. Division of polynomials, okay? We're gonna go over dividing polynomials by monomials, dividing polynomials by polynomials, which means that more than three terms, three terms, two terms. Apply the division algorithm, learn synthetic division, and understand the remainder theorem. Those are our goals. This is gonna be a 2-day lesson, so 4.3 is today and tomorrow. So probably then tomorrow we'll take our exit ticket over it, okay? Because therefore I don't think we won't make it through. So, all right. So dividing polynomials by monomials. It's very simple. When you're dividing by a monomial, which means that it's a single term in the denominator, this guy, all you're going to do is create separate problems and simplify each separate problem. So notice how the 5x is applying to the 10x cubed, the 25x squared, and the 15x. So you divide each one individually by 5x, and then you simplify. Does that sound doable? Okay, things to remember about powers. When you are dividing a power, so if I have x to the m divided by x to the n, that means that you are subtracting. Do we remember that? Okay, so that's all that happened here. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we have 2x squared. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. And any number to the 0 power is 1. So it becomes Casper the Friendly One. How does that feel? Decent? All right, let's do an example. So we have 4x to the 4th plus 8x squared minus 5x divided by 4x squared. So what that means is I'm taking 4x to the 4th and dividing it by 4x squared, taking 8x squared divided by 4x squared, taking negative 5x and dividing it by 4x squared. And you're just going to do each one. Yes.
How would you do the 5x?
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 minus 2 is, so x squared. 8 divided by 4 is 2 minus 2 is 0, which is 1. And then we have 5 divided by 4, which is going to be 5, 4. And what is 1 minus 2? Negative 1. Okay. So if we were to write it, this is what it would look like in terms of division. Now, because this can't be simplified, on your homework, they would want you to write it as x plus 2. And what this is our remainder because it doesn't divide evenly, right? So our remainder would be minus, and you would just have 5 over 4x. Is how I believe your Pearson wants you to write it. 8 divided by 4 was what? Okay. Yes. No, I just said this is the way that it's going to want you to put it on your Pearson. I just rewrote it. That's why it says equal. All right. Questions about monomial? The negative 1 just means that we have a power over the negative. It means it belongs in the denominator.
Which part's the right side of the?
This is your remainder because it's the one that did not simplify.
So if it's negative 1,
Yes, so remember if you have a negative power, it means that it belongs in the denominator. The 4 is just a number. 5/4. As long as 1 is negative, then they both, you can't, if I have 2 negatives, then it becomes a what? A positive. So just 1 needs to be negative.
So the one onto the right side of the sign is how.
Yes. I would accept either one. But I want to make sure you're comfortable with what's expected to go in. All right, questions about monomials? All right, because we're gonna dive a little deeper. Now, do you guys remember doing long division in elementary school? Yes? Did your teachers by any chance come up with this? Does McDonald's serve burgers as your order? No, no, is that just my age group thing?
That's just your age group.
Okay, cool, it's cool, it's cool. We don't need to further discuss it. We don't need to further discuss it, okay? Yes, so does McDonald's serve burgers is a way for you to remember the order that takes place when you're doing long division. Okay, so the first thing you do is divide. The second thing you do is multiply. The third thing you do is subtract. The fourth thing you do is bring down, and then you repeat.
Okay, why you got an arrow there?
Bring down. I even wrote the word next to it. I wrote the word next to it. Bring down. Okay. All right, so does McDonald's serve burgers? Yeah. And so then you would repeat, okay? So we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it with polynomials, okay? The first thing that you wanna make sure is that your polynomial is in standard form, meaning that you're in order of decreasing power and that all powers are represented, right? I have 3, 2, 1, and none, right? So all powers are there. Now I'm gonna set up my division. So I have x minus 2 divided into 3x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x minus 4. It said divide. We're good? All I did was set up. Any questions about setup? Okay, now when you're dividing a polynomial by a polynomial, you're only using the leading coefficient of the dividend, of the divisor. Is that the dividend? Divisor of the divisor. Okay, so I'm looking at x. So the first step of does McDonald's sell burgers is to divide, right? Is the D. So you're dividing 3x cubed by x. So we have 3x cubed divided by x. What do we get? 3x squared, right? We agree? That's why we talked about monomials. I just subtracted the powers. Yeah, exactly. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 3. Agreed? Casper, the friendly one is there. 3 minus 1 is 2. So 3x cubed divided by x is 3x squared.
You have to divide them each by separately.
You divide the leading term only. Okay? Yes, that's why we went over the monomial first. We haven't even done anything.
Is there an easier version of this?
All right, here we go. This is the easy. We haven't did anything but divide.
I'm looking at the PDF version.
That doesn't work with everything. That's why we don't learn that way first. All right, so here we have 3x squared. Yes, so we did the divide. Now, the next step is does McDonald's serve burgers is the M, and M means to multiply. So you're gonna multiply your every term of your divisor. Your divisor? I think so. By what you got from here. So we have 3x squared times x minus 2. So we divide it, now we're multiplying.
I don't have to divide by 2.
Because it's only the leading coefficient, leading term. So we're gonna distribute, and that gives me 3x cubed minus 6x squared. Yes. We multiply. You follow the arrow. 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times negative 2 is negative 6x squared. So we found from this part, first thing we did was divide. Ariel, I'm explaining it and you're looking at your phone. You didn't say nothing, so I kept going.
I said,
Oh.
I'll check it out where you got the money from. But it's on my.
Oh.
Do this to every single one.
It gets faster. I have to go slow right now because
Because.
you're learning it. You're literally learning it, guys. All right. So again, we distribute. Okay. After you distribute, the third step is to subtract. When you're subtracting, all that means is you're changing the signs of what you have. So instead of a positive, it becomes a negative. Instead of a negative, it becomes a positive. So I'm subtracting 3x cubed and I'm adding 6x squared. Why? Because subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding a positive. You're gonna clean this up. And I don't care.
That's crazy. Why is it a positive?
You subtract, when you subtract, minus a negative turns it into a positive, a negative, and a negative makes a positive. And then the fourth step is to bring down. That's your B. And then you're going to repeat the process again. Huh?
Wouldn't it just be 3?
Minus 3x squared plus 6x squared is 3x squared. Yes.
So when you say repeat the process,
You're going to go through the same 4 steps again, starting with the lead. Use the, bless you. You're using the leading coefficient and you're going to divide again. So I'm asking myself, what is 3? I'm here now. 3x squared divided by x. 3x squared divided by x is 3x. And now I'm going to multiply 3x times x minus 2. Each level, it's its own one. Each level of the division is its own little problem. And I distribute, and we get 3x squared minus 6x. And then subtract. And when I subtract again, that means I'm doing what to the signs? Changing the signs. This cancels. I'm left with 4x. And then the last step is to bring down. So I have to do it one more time. So now I have x divided into 4x. Well, what's 4x divided by x? 4. And then I'm going to multiply. What is 4 times x minus 2? And I'm going to subtract, which just means I change the, and I'm left with 4. So that means my remainder is 4 out of x minus 2. And this is your quotient. Now, if you're struggling with this, that makes me believe that you don't know how to do long division.
it's not the long division part now. It's the x's.
Huh?
Come on.
It's the exponent.
4 times 2
I'm gonna go back.
is positive 8. When you subtract, it changes the signs. See why I said this was a 2-day? All right, here we go. So we're going to do this again and again. The steps that you follow, you divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. So I'm going to set it up. I have everything is in standard form. Nothing's missing. So I have 2x minus 1 divided by 4x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's where I start. I'm going to ask myself, what is 4x squared divided by 2x? I say self, that is 2x. Then I'm going to ask myself, what is 2x times my divisor? Well, 2x times my divisor is 4x minus 2x. Then I'm like, okay, I'm on subtract. Well, when you're subtracting, that means you're changing the signs. So instead of this being positive, it becomes a negative. Instead of this being negative, it becomes a positive. This eliminates, which is what I needed it to do. And I'm left with 4x. And I'm going to bring down. And I'm going to have to repeat again because I still can. So now I'm asking myself, how much does 2x divide into 4x? I'm going to say self, it divides in there 2 times. Then I'm going to multiply. 2 times 2x minus 1 is 4x minus 2. Then I'm going to subtract. Subtracting means I'm changing the signs. This eliminates, and I'm left with 3. Is there anything to bring down? No. So this guy is my remainder. And then therefore my remainder is 3 over 2x minus 1. But if I did it the first time without writing out what I was doing,
I thought like,
Maybe
that's
I
what we
would've
had to do
thought
like
of-
each time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
no, it's my thought process. So I just gotta keep my thought process.
So you're still.
Okay, let's see how that goes.
No, I
Let's see how that
needed-
goes.
No, I needed the first time.
The thought process makes sense.
But no, that's how you're thinking
So you always put.
as a fraction. It's the remainder over the divisor. Yes. So this is your divisor, this is your dividend, this is your quotient, which is your solution.
So we did all of that.
And we divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down.
I think I thought like the stuff on the side, I thought we had to do that each time. So I was like,
You're doing it each time. Whether you write it out is up to you, but you're doing it each time. All right, here's yours. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that before I let you go, we have some fillers. Is this in standard form? No, what's missing? I go 3, 2, nothing. What's missing? The X. And is this in standard form? No. So that means that you have to fill in with zeros. So this is missing X, so I put a 0. And this is also missing X, so I put a 0. Does adding a 0 change the value of what I have? No. Okay. Remember, it's all based off of your first term. I'm going to stop talking and let you see what you do. All right. How we do? Did we get 3x minus 2 minus 6x plus 8 over
I forgot to change the signs.
the subtraction part?
Yeah.
I remember to subtract.
Why is it, wait, what? How did you know I put it?
So I went through, I divided by the leading coefficient, leading term, I keep saying coefficient, term of my divisor. So 3x cubed divided by x squared was 3x. Then I multiplied everything by that quotient. So 3x times x squared is 3x cubed, 3x times 0x is 0x squared, 3x times 2 is 6x. Then I subtracted, and what happens when you subtract? The signs change. So we have negative 2x squared minus 0. Doesn't really make a difference. It's still negative 2x squared. 0 minus 6x is negative 6x. And then I subtracted. Huh? You have to be in standard form. So if I'm not in standard form, that was the first thing we did. We put the zeros together.
I got the first 2 parts. I didn't get to that. So.
And then we repeat the steps again. And at the end, while all is said and done, we couldn't divide anymore, right? Can 6x evenly divide into x squared? What? X squared evenly divide into 6x? No. So this guy is my what? My remainder. And it's your remainder over your divisor. And my divisor was x squared plus 2. Okay, this is definitely something that takes practice. On your notes on Brightspace, it's actually written out with the steps. For all you weirdos. But tomorrow we will pick up synthetic division, which is a shortcut, but only works with linear polynomials.
Question.